So whenever you're thinking about what you should do, if you find you're the type of person who gets irrationally obligated, remember that's an instinct of the ego self. There's a set of questions you can ask yourself to probably get back to what your duty is, which is how to not make things worse and how to make things better in a given moment. And then secondly, if you find that you're the more aggressive, bossy type, you'll say to yourself, you can ask the same questions. Well, why is this their duty? I should be able to reason, and also ask myself, am I saying this just to make myself feel better? For example, let's say you feel sorry for somebody. Say, well, A says to B that you should do this for C. And they say, why? And secretly, it's because I'll feel better if you do that for C. And then again, A's feelings are what are paramount. So those are two kinds of mistakes that I see. And, here with my idea that if we can use the rational dimension of the higher self, we can correct the sometimes bad theories and bad instincts of the ego self. Okay, so then at a deeper level of what our duties are as human beings, and here's where it gets much more theoretical, and here's where I really do have to plead a real humble kind of limitation on what I think our duties are as human beings. Because when I look around the world and I see people doing things that I know they feel they have to do, that I don't think they have to do, in fact, I don't think they should be doing, there's something in me militates against telling other people how to live their lives. Okay? That I'm not who they are. I don't know what brought them to this moment in life. I don't know what they're working things out. Maybe my not liking what they're doing is more about my story than anything that's right. So I have a very, very instinctive skepticism about my reading of what other people ought to do or not do, except in the most general, principled way. By the way, this probably is something in me that leads to my, a political stream in my thought, which is somewhat libertarian. I sometimes describe myself as a kind of a values, socially progressive, economically cautious, with a libertarian stream running through the whole thing. Meaning, the idea that we citizens should not boss each other around unless it's absolutely necessary. Okay? So in general, unless something's really, really important at stake, let's not tell each other what to do. Let's preserve as much freedom as possible. So in any case, I'll give a good example. For me, an important example. So we had our Tuesday night. We had our current event plus thoughtful, not ideological Tuesday night, and it went really. I have to say, it went really well. Why? Because I made it very clear that I want us to do the following things. In discussing how we see something, let's try to share, number one, what values we're bringing to the issue. And let's share with other people what our values are and be curious about their values. Secondly, let's discuss the facts as we know them. And number three, policies that seem to flow from values and facts that produce the good that we're after. No criticizing, complaining, condemning, conflict, no you statements, no attacking, no telling anybody that they're not sincere, they're stupid or something like that. None of that. Like verboten. We're not do any of that. And what was interesting was when we talked about, for example, the crisis at the southern border, how much we didn't know. I would say it was I'll say somewhat of a left-leaning group on Tuesday night. But when we were trying to figure out, well, why are there people in detention if the Flores decision says you can't keep a child in detention for X number of days? And what do we mean by expedited deportation? I read that in the Obama years, there was, over 1 million people deported. Did every one of them get an administrative hearing? So we have so many questions, like what was done before, what's being done now, what exactly the law is, what the procedures are. And we realized that we were so, our minds were so filled with cages and concentration camps and children being ripped and, all of that, which I think certainly inflamed the passions, that we tried to get through all the passionate speech. We really weren't sure what was happening. And everybody had a smartphone and we're pulling things out. We all looked at the Flores decision and we still couldn't get much clarity. So that led to, I think, a kind of a common consensus that I know we're in the area of the resistance. I understand the resistance, but when the press is part of the resistance, what happens is it's just hard to get at the facts, just like in a cool sense. Here's exactly what's happening. Based on what's happening, here are some things that we think violate our values. That should be like, somewhat down. And then third, here's what we recommend. As opposed to the headline, the first 3 paragraphs being, this is horrible. This is a concentration camp. This violates the human condition. And you got to read so much to find out what's going on there.